later stages of the previous century, in the 20th century, there was, as you recall, a significant movement of the elderly. We call them snowbirds in these days, who sort of left the snows of Nebraska or Wisconsin or Michigan and moved south to places like Arizona, Nevada, and particularly Florida, in search of a different lifestyle, a way to grow elderly in a warmer, sunnier climate.
Can't beat that.
Can't beat it. It lasted for probably 40 years or so, and so companies like Del Webb established themselves to cater for these communities for the active elderly, golfing, swimming, lots of activities. Well, through the 21st century, we've begun to see people become more connected to where they were. That was a combination of lifestyle, of the change in the economy that made it harder for people to move away. It meant that people stayed put. They put down even deeper roots and sort of created a different way in which people grew elderly. And that's what you can see on that map. People stayed put.
Well, you know, that map represents, is indicative of all the issues that we're having now. We've got so many, we've got about a quarter of our population here in 2035 that's 65 years and older, and that really creates quite a few service demands and demands of that population. You know, I want to take a look back if we can. What was it like, well, here's a slide up now for our viewers, in 2015. That's a dramatic difference, isn't it?
Absolutely. You can see from there that the proportion of communities, each of these squares, by the way, and the squiggly lines represent municipalities, or communities if you want to call them that. And you can see there that the proportion of communities, the number of communities that had significant numbers of the elderly, 25% and above, is relatively small. Yes, they were in the first ring suburbs, as we called them, like Ferndale and Oak Park, and moving up into Royal Oak and Birmingham, and then some over in the downriver, like I mentioned before, the ones that today have a very high proportion. In fact, to give a little bit of jargon, if you don't mind, they're called,
go ahead.
They're called NORCs, naturally occurring retirement communities. These are not manufactured retirement communities. This is what has occurred.
So that first slide of the deeper orange and the reds are those NORCs that
absolutely
just happened.
They just happened, and there you can see on the screen again the amount of them. And these are no longer just the small communities in the immediate first ring suburbs. They now cover a large proportion of the metropolitan area.